चलो
चुराए वो सब वापस लेने जा रहे हैं।
दिस इज जनरल कमलेश भाई। दोस्तों आज होगा आक्रमण।
दोस्तों ये जो पहिया आप देख रहे हैं ये भी हमारे भारत से कहीं से चुराई हुई है। यहाँ पे फिलहाल ये रखी हुई है, लेकिन एक टाइम पे ये बहुत बड़े जहाज़ों पे इस्तेमाल हुआ करता था। हम लोग इस पहिए को अभी वापस चुराने, चोर के घर से चोरी करने आए हैं।
अब घर वापसी करने आए हैं। आप कुछ बताना चाहेंगे इसके बारे में?
क्या देख रहे हो भाई अंदर?
हम जा रहे हैं
जेसीबी की खुदाई देखने
जहाज पे।
तो दोस्तों हम लोग इस जहाज को अभी यहीं से तैरा के इंडिया वापस लेके जाएंगे, जहाँ पे ये पहले बनाया गया था।
इसलिए नहीं छोड़ो, रहने दो।
Here we have the Royal Research Ship Discovery, and it was called that because it was one of the first ships in the entire world built just for science and exploration. So she wasn't being sent off to war, she wasn't being used as a cargo ship, it was just science. She was built right here in Dundee, beginning in 1900, and a little over a year later, in 1901, she was launched into the Tay and started making her way all the way down to Antarctica. They took lots of different animals with them. They took some lovely sheep. You could shear the sheep and use that wool to make some nice warm jumpers. And of course the sheep would eventually be eaten. Normally, once they were slaughtered, they would actually be hung from the rigging at the side of the ship. Quite gruesome, but they referred to it as a natural freezer, because of course Antarctica is freezing cold, so you didn't need to salt your meat or anything like that to preserve it. We also had huge big Siberian huskies on board that came all the way from Russia to pull the sleds that carried the men across the ice and the snow. And last but not least, we had 3 little ship's cats, Poplar, Boatswain and Blackwall, who are of course there to catch any rats or mice that make their way on board. And this is what would determine what direction your ship is going in. Again, we've removed it to do a little bit of work, but it will eventually go back.
क्या बता रहे थे, समझ नहीं आया।
We are of course a wooden ship. We were built using more than 25 types of wood from all over the world, places like South America, Canada, places even as close as England. They decided on a wooden ship for a few different reasons. Unlike metal, wood can flex and breathe, so once we reach Antarctica and all of that ice starts applying pressure to the side of the ship or the hull, it's going to flex and move rather than being really rigid and breaking. This thing is health and safety, so no nice harness to keep you strapped in, you're just using your muscles. And the ship is going to be rocking side to side so much. At times you just be staring out to sea, looking for things like icebergs, maybe big whales, things that can damage the ship. The brass part on the inside, that's the binnacle, and it's almost like a little house for the compass. It keeps it nice and safe. You'll see there's some liquid inside the compass. Oftentimes people think it's water, but of course water would freeze in Antarctica, so this is a really, really strong alcohol. They added it so the compass wouldn't move quite so quickly. It made it easier for them to read when they were sailing. Get this? See it?
Fine aged alcohol.
Comfortable because you're going to rock and move with the waves rather than being tossed around in a hard wooden bed. So you can imagine it would have been really, really cramped in here. 36 men all they all had to share the exact same bath water. So that would be like everyone here sharing a big bath. Not the nicest spot in the world.
स्पॉन्सर्ड बाय हैरिसबर्ग यूनिवर्सिटी। यहाँ पर लाइट भी डांस करती हैं। डुंग डुंग।
अभी हमारे शुभम भाई इन लाइटों पे
फ्लिप मार के दिखाएंगे।
फ्लिप मार मार के आगे तक जाएंगे। बने रहिए हमारे साथ।
इनकी कोई हिस्ट्री बताओ यार, डांसिंग लाइट ये इनके बारे में।
क्या है यार ये
कुछ नहीं।
फालतू की लाइट।
हाँ।